Do you want to know how to not do cardio and still hit your weight loss goals? Stick around for that. Stick around if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, and stick around to the very end to see how cardio can impact your decision making in a negative way. Let's go. All right, so most people think that you need cardio to hit your weight loss goals. And I think that's very normal. I think it's a big part of fitness culture and a big part of just weight loss in general over the last several decades. However, here are some reasons why I think that shifting away from doing traditional scheduled cardio sessions, walking on a treadmill on an incline, doing HIIT, any various other methods of cardio is going to work against you. So number one, bodybuilding is a game of managing accumulating fatigue. What do I mean by that? Cardio is going to interfere with your other systems that need recovery. So whether we like it or not, we accumulate physical fatigue whenever we weight train. Additionally, if we are doing extra cardio on top of that, that is also fatigue that we are accumulating. Now, it could be lower intensity cardio, which would accumulate less fatigue. However, by structuring that in, that is just more competing systems for our body that need recovery when we could be reserving those energy systems for our weight training. Number two, if you get deep enough into a diet and you have enough structured cardio built in, I've heard it's pretty common to have like an hour of structured cardio a day. I don't think that's high intensity cardio, but just could you imagine an hour being on a treadmill, an hour of being on an elliptical? You may have to do some cardio. I'm not going to say that you won't towards the end of a bodybuilding contest preparation diet. However, when you are first starting out, which is what this video is for, you can get away with not doing cardio, and we'll get more on that into the meat of the video. So initially, if we are doing a bunch of cardio, this also may impact our performance in the gym while we are weight training. We wouldn't want to be training for a marathon or an ultra marathon while we are training in a bodybuilding style fashion. I mean, you can do that, but your performance in the gym is going to take a hit. I think you know that intuitively. Another thing I'd like to consider is the deeper you get into a cut, there is not only physical stress and fatigue, there is a mental fatigue that accumulates and grows on top of everything. And that mental fatigue, which it's fine, I think people are resilient and tough. However, I think that mental fatigue leads to impulsivity and poor decision making, which I think if you're a coach or if you're someone who has done this before, that is the thing that gets you. It's not even that your body feels physically tired, it's that the mental fatigue weighs on you, and then you begin negotiating with yourself about, do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? You start looking at food differently, you start looking at everything differently, and it's really your mind that sort of takes over and causes you to make suboptimal decisions. So there's that. What would we do instead? And I posit, and this is something common, but if you're new to bodybuilding, it might be new to you, increasing, modifying, manipulating your daily steps is the way to go in terms of increasing physical activity while you are dieting in a bodybuilding type fashion. So what does this get you? I personally think, building off of my last points, it gets you much less fatigue and much less accumulation of stressors. So if you are not doing formalized cardio, you now don't have to worry about structuring your cardio around your weight training, which is also a big question. Do I do cardio in the morning fasted? Do I do cardio in the evening? Do I do cardio before my workouts? Do I do cardio after my workouts? Now I'm not talking about warming up on a treadmill for 5 minutes. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, 30 minutes to an hour, 20 minutes to 30 minutes of high incline walking, 20 to 30 minutes of on an elliptical, 20 to 30 minutes of running around a track, things like that, cardiovascular thing, and worrying about when to structure those in. So there's a decrease in mental fatigue. Awesome. And additionally, you don't have to worry about that extra time in the gym. So when you're in the gym, we only have so much time in the gym unless you just have all the time in the world. And if you want to make your gym session the most productive it could be, only focusing on weight training while you're there is going to be very beneficial, because then you don't have to make it to the end of your workout and go, well, shit, got another 30 minutes of cardio or something like that. There are ways to do it. There are intelligent ways to do it. But if you can cut that out, I feel like you can have a greater impact. And in my experience, which that's what most of this is based off of anyways, I am more effective in the gym and I go to the gym more enthusiastic and I leave on a higher note because I haven't had to incorporate additional cardio on top of the weight training. And sort of a sub point, you don't have to worry about the type of cardio that you're doing. I think that's also another big question that as a beginner bodybuilder that I had. It was like, all right, so do I just walk on a treadmill here? Do I run on a treadmill? Do I jog? Do I use an elliptical? Do I use a stair climber? I see a lot of people using a stair climber. I hate the stair climber. A lot of people use, let's see here, various types of Tabata-like training, high intensity interval training. What the hell do I do? You don't have to worry about that. If you focus on your daily step count, physical activity like that, you no longer have to worry about the type of cardio you're doing, which leads to decreased mental fatigue and decreased decision making. So there was a study in 2008, numerous studies, Voss et al. What they looked at was decision-making and generally decision-making fatigue. And what they found was that the more decisions you made, the more mental fatigue you had, the reduced self-control you had, and the more impulsivity you had. Why are those bad things? I think it's pretty obvious. If you have higher impulsivity and reduced ability to make decisions, especially while you are dieting, that is going to be a no-go because you're already going to be in a calorie deficit. That's already going to tax both your mental and physical systems, and your impulsivity and decision-making is going to be, your decision-making is going to be a little bit poorer and your impulsivity is going to be a little bit higher anyways. By eliminating the variable, making decisions about the types of cardiovascular training, when to structure that in, the added fatigue costs of traditional cardio, I think you buy yourself an increased reserve or a maintenance of your reserve of your decision-making abilities. So how do we incorporate step tracking into everything? So what you're going to want, number one piece of equipment, any kind of step tracker. So that could be like I've got this fancy Apple Watch. I'll be honest with you, I hate it. I don't hate it. It's just, it's too fancy. I had a Fitbit. That was great. It tracked my steps. It was very, analog looking, 8-bit kind of, and it was great. So any kind of step tracker, you're going to want a step tracker. I wouldn't count on the one in our phones just because I feel like that's less accurate. You don't always have your phone in your hand. So something that you can wear. So that's number one. Number two, look at your past couple of weeks, couple of months before you started dieting and see what your baseline step counts were. So if they were in anything less than like 10 to 12,000, so let's say that they were in the 6,000-7,000 range, I would say easily a way to modify that and to impose more of a calorie deficit on our bodies is to increase by around 1,500 to 2,000 steps a day. And I think that's a good conservative bump. So if you were at like 6,000, you're looking at 7,500 or 8,000. I think that is a nice little jump. And some might even say even more, and that's fine. But I think if you're already under 10 to 12,000 steps, increasing from 6,000 to 8,000 or 8,000 to 10,000, that would be a good first start. And stacking that on top of the calorie deficit that you've imposed by manipulating your foods is going to be a great way to make modifications moving forward. You can leverage the step counts to be more productive in your day-to-day life. What do I mean by that? So for me, I think I was getting around, 7,000 to 8,000 steps. And then I wanted to get 10,000 or more steps. And all I did was start doing more stuff around my house. So if you're a bodybuilder and a new bodybuilder, whatever, and you want to also still contribute to your house, still be productive, you can leverage your step counts to get shit done around your house. I do my laundry. My laundry's downstairs, so I have to go up and down the stairs. I clean my house a bit more. I make sure to do my dishes, which are not really moving, but it's just some physical movement in there. I make sure to mow my lawn regularly whenever it's not winter and I'm dying. And I sort of leverage like, okay, I have to get this many steps in. I'm not working today, so maybe this is a weekend. How do I get my steps in now? And just by doing things around my home, the normal chores that I have to do that I don't like to do, I have sort of paired those activities with an activity that I don't necessarily enjoy, but it is linked to goals that I have for my body. So whenever you can pair two activities together that are aligned with your values and your goals, it'll increase the likelihood that those things are going to happen. So focusing on step counts and not formalized cardio allows you to just get stuff done around your house too, which I think makes it an even better way than cardio to go about your weight loss goals. Give that a thought. Last thing, you're going to want to check out this next video on how to incorporate more psychology into your bodybuilding to make it even more effective and to make you more effective in anything you want to do. See you next time.